I don't think Josh McDaniels gets fired. I think he gets another year. I don't think if you're Mark Davis, you want another complete reset. I think you're going to hold on to him. I think he's going to get a third year.
For our audio-only listeners that are not watching on YouTube, that are listening elsewhere, Austin is sitting crisscross applesauce, hands folded in front of him, wearing a Barbie hoodie. So just visualize that.
In my head, I was like, maybe I can like throw it out there that it's for Halloween. He's dressed up as like a. No, this won't come out before October.
Okay, I was about to. Never mind. Yeah, so welcome to the Harvester Sports Podcast. This is episode something, 74 perhaps. That's a guess.
Let me know.
You'll know if it's right or if it's wrong, but I'm not going to check right now.
Let me know. Just bleep it over.
Yeah, voiceover right here. By the way, not doing that. It'll take me an extra 2 minutes to edit and doing that. Nope, not happening. We're your hosts, Noah and
Austin.
Yep. So we'll start with there was 2 scoregamis in the NFL this year, so there's that. So
that's good. Always love a scoregami.
Those of us that root for the scoregami, which is, for those who don't know, is a NFL score that's never happened before. Mm-hmm. Unprecedented score combination.
Yeah. You follow the Twitter account. It's actually pretty good. Like, they'll give you updates if one like could happen, the percentage of it happening. It's actually kind of sick. Should we just get right into what people want to talk about? Let's talk about our baby boy Derek getting hurt this last Sunday. For all those wondering, Derek's okay. He's going to be fine. It's a lot better than what they thought it was. Originally, like at least the family watching, it was what the doctor thought, is he broke his collarbone. That's what the big worry was. But that didn't happen. He just sprained his AC joint. It's now going to be a thing of how bad does it hurt, how bad or how like under control can they get the inflammation. So Derek will probably be week to week. There's a chance he plays this week if he's feeling all right. But yeah, it's just all based on how he feels. I'm glad. It feels like we really dodged a bullet because a broken collarbone, he'd been out months. But a sprained AC joint, my dad, DCA, had that, and he came back in 2 weeks. And he was battling for his life in Houston. But Derek's a strong guy. He's all right. We dodged a bullet. Thank you guys for praying for him. Derek's going to be okay. I will say this, though. Sad that the Packers won. The Packers did come back and win. It was rough. I feel like the team was demoralized coming into the fourth quarter after that.
That's what was rough to see was, I mean, Derek going out, you obviously expect to see the offense not produce quite as well, not having him in there. But it was a bummer that it kind of just felt like the whole team just really got thrown off, including defense. The whole team just, it wasn't clicking and didn't seem like there's a lot of confidence there, which is too bad.
It's just one of those things where it feels like everything just started spiraling out of control. Like James talking about his interview, the team just felt, that shaking up for Derek. Everyone was worried about Derek, and then things started to go right for the Packers, wrong for the Saints. If Derek was in there, they would have won that game. If Derek would have stayed healthy, the team would have kept rolling. They would have won that game, been 3-0. But that's not the universe we live in right now.
Yeah, it's a bummer that with everything that went so horribly wrong in the second half, all the like mistakes and things that obviously didn't go right, that it still came down to a field goal.
And it was so close.
Even then, it was so close. But I mean, they made a lot of mistakes, and Jordan Love, you won the Bakersfield Bowl this time. Jordan Love played well and enough to capitalize on that. In the second half, he, when it counted, he played really well. Yeah. And they capitalized on those mistakes. And
I totally agree. And if Derek's not playing this week if he's not playing against the Bucs, go Jameis. We'll be here. All the family will be here. We'll be supporting. We're ready. We're good. We'll be good. We'll be all right.
Worst comes to worst. Feed Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, but that man is back. Alvin Kamara is back. Do not forget that.
Alvin Kamara return game. Feed Alvin Kamara. Feed
everybody.
The boys.
Yeah, feed Olave. Feed Michael Thomas. Feed everybody. Jimmy Graham was getting a piece of that. Everyone's cooking. But
getting what?
Sorry. Getting a piece of that ball, man. Yeah, it'll be all right. Derek will come back. We'll be good. No need to panic. His injury, he'll be fine. Nothing bad at all. We're good.
Yep. Talk about he wasn't the only quarterback got hurt. Jimmy got hurt.
Yeah, Jimmy G also got hurt.
Concussion thing, which didn't know what was going on until after the game that happened.
Yeah, but, which I don't know if it happened on. I don't know how I can describe it, but the tackle where he went down, it looked like he fumbled, where they think he has concussion, looked a lot worse than just a concussion. I thought he was going to be very badly hurt, but I'm glad Jimmy G's okay. The concussion, scary stuff. You never want to hurt your head. You always keep your brain safe. But now the question is, who do you think the Raiders start this week? Do you think they start their young quarterback who hasn't started a game this year, or do you think they go Brian Hoyer?
I refuse to go with the AOC nickname because I feel like that's taken, and I don't I feel weird about a NFL quarterback having the same nickname as a socialist politician. It feels like a really weird. So
starting off on the wrong foot.
So Aiden O'Connell, the rookie out of Purdue, I might. If he's healthy and like ready to go, he was listed as inactive last week, but I don't think that was because of any injuries or anything. I think they just didn't have him ready. Mm-hmm. I think your best shot right now is to give him. If Jimmy's not ready to go on Sunday, I think you take the opportunity to see what O'Connell has. I think that, no, there's nobody that thinks Brian Hoyer is the future of the Raiders.
No.
There are people who think that Aiden O'Connell could potentially be the future of the Raiders. He played well in preseason, so why not have a look at him? I think that there's a lot more upside there than there is with Brian Hoyer, with the points that they both are at their careers. I think that particularly with Jimmy struggling, you want to know what the options that you have. You want to see what those look like, and Aiden O'Connell would be the other option. And you have an opportunity to take a look at him, see what he's like in a real NFL game. So I think that it makes sense to start him.
I think you're totally right. If you're Mark Davis, if you're Josh, you see your quarterback go down. Why I'm panicking right now, but you see your quarterback go down. Everybody knows, like you said, Brian Hoyer isn't going to be the future for the Raiders, and some of these fans are turning against you. They want, like Josh. These fans are like tweeting, "Fire Josh, fire Josh." You have a chance to start this young guy that people want to see. He could come in and be that spark that you guys need, and he could help show some of these fans that there is greener pastures and things can get better. Because really, right now, you're in a spot where you've had a rough 2 games. You're 1-2, which isn't that bad, start of the year, but you got to start stringing these wins together. And I think if Jimmy G is gone, your best chance would be Aiden O'Connell.
Well, the reality is that you see, I don't know that Aiden O'Connell does necessarily give you a better chance at winning this game than Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer might be the better option for if you really you're just trying to get that win this week and not really looking beyond that. But especially in light of Jimmy having struggles and wanting to kind of figure out, assess the weapons that you have for if you end up having to play somebody other than Jimmy sometime in the future, I think that it makes sense to want to give Aiden O'Connell a chance, even if you can make the case that if it really is just this one game that Jimmy's not playing and you're trying to get a win there, then maybe you go with Brian Hoyer because he is more experienced. He might have a better chance at getting you that win. But in terms of actually evaluating the talent that you have on your roster and on your hands and having a better idea of what the future might look like for that position, then it makes sense. Now's as good an opportunity as any to see what Aiden O'Connell has, because with the opportunities that he's been given so far, which is just preseason, he's done extremely well with all the opportunities he's been given, so why not give more opportunities?
I think you're 100% right. For the past decade, we've all seen Brian Hoyer play. We've all seen, it's not a mystery what Brian Hoyer's...
Feels like the last 5 decades.
Yeah. It's not a mystery of what Brian Hoyer can do, how he can perform under the lights. But you have a young rookie quarterback that you haven't seen play a regular season game yet. If it's just one game that you need a quarterback to come in, you don't need a long-term solution, throw him in there. Let's just see what the young guy can do, and maybe he is that future that you need. Because right now, it's hard, and you don't know if you're going to get... If the plan is to get Caleb Williams, you don't know if you're going to be in a spot to get him this upcoming draft either. You don't even know if Caleb Williams is going to stay in college or not. There's a lot of different things that could happen. And I think for the Raiders, your best scenario would be just to throw throw AOC out there. Sorry.
Also, this is gonna be a banger. Right?
Okay, I'm buckled in.
The more sure thing, because you know more of what you're getting. If you're wanting your best shot at like getting a win, solid win, you know what you're getting yourself into. You start Brian Hoyer this week. But if you want to gamble, then you go with Aiden O'Connell, and you are in Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas!
So
man.
roll those dice, I'd say, because why not take the little gamble?
Hey, that was a banger. And again, just the media perspective, it'll get some people off your back. Just show them what they want. You guys want to see what Aiden can do? Here's Aiden.
Yeah, I guess here that it is. If he like really struggles, then
you have that off your back. You have that part off your back.
I like Jimmy's whole like his last couple of years. It's been any time that he's been in like the situation with the Niners, and now he's finding himself in a similar situation on the Raiders, where if we don't get to see Aiden O'Connell, every time like if Aiden O'Connell comes in and he sucks, then then you're good. Then you're gonna be like, okay, Jimmy, we're riding out Jimmy. But if you don't get to see Aiden O'Connell and he's just this big question mark, then every time that Jimmy struggles, Raiders Twitter is put
exactly.
Aiden O'Connell in,
you don't want chants in the stadium. You don't want that.
The AOC chant in the stadium. If you had enough fans to start a chant.
Don't look around like that.
If the chants were for the home team and not the away team. Sorry. Touchy subject?
Yeah. Don't say touchy subject, especially against the Chargers.
It would be hard to get the chant going when everybody's holding terrible towels in the air, spitting those around the stand. That's what I'm saying. I will say back to the Saints, though, the best matchup of the Saints playing the Buccaneers means that it is the iconic Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans rivalry. So
it is. That'll be very fun.
Excited to see how that goes.
And potentially you'll get Jameis versus his old team. So
that's true.
A lot of good things going on.
I mean, if it comes down to it, I think you just say you can't cancel the game and just have Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans fight and just give the win to whichever team.
Yeah, I think
because it's inevitable. It's going to happen anyway.
They're going to fight.
May as well have it be a sanctioned event rather than on the field.
They're going to fight. Might as well just put them in 1v1s and just see what happens.
Mike Evans is a lot bigger than Marshawn Lattimore, but
we'll make it work.
It's about the size of the fight and the dog, right?
Hey, not the dog in the fight.
Are you a 49ers fan?
No.
I thought that's what people were in San Francisco. All right, this is a new segment we're going to do every week, but maybe just for this week.
We're going to workshop some names.
we're going to workshop the name. What are we going with now?
Don't ask me. Don't try to pass it to me.
So this is somebody that you think deserves some roses after last week.
Yeah, like The Bachelor.
No, I'm quite like The Bachelor.
Can we start a new segment
you do look like somebody that would watch a lot of The Bachelor right now.
I'll rest me. And Bachelorette. Can we do a new segment where DC8 sits here, but you only put him in for a frame so people get jump scared by just him sitting on the couch? Yeah, who do you want to give your rose to? Sorry.
See, I was going with
it's too late.
Giving your roses to somebody deserves roses, like that metaphor. You're fully going the route of The Bachelor and Bachelorette because you're only giving them one rose.
Checkmate.
Like, here's your rose.
Jake May got me.
Fully different thing.
Give your bouquet to somebody.
Somebody that I think deserves props.
Somebody I'd give a full bouquet to, not just one rose.
Somebody that I would say deserves props is Mike McDaniel. Obviously, that was one of the big stories of the week was their historic victory over the Broncos, dropping 70 points, winning 70-20. That team obviously is incredibly talented, and especially that offense. The speed is ridiculous. I saw the top 5 clocked speeds from players this year are 5 different Dolphins players in the NFL. So they have so much speed on that offense. But I also think that in addition to how talented their players are, if you watch Dolphins games, it's very clear how well coached they are. You also, by the way, this week didn't even have Jalen Waddle. And would that have been the difference maker that would have got them to 73? Well, they could have got to 73 if they wanted to.
Would you have kicked the field goal?
I would have done more than kick the field goal. I would be running up the score. But yeah, I think if you watch the Dolphins game, the amount of like pre-snap motion where you're motioning Tyreek this way, motioning players all over the place, all sorts of stuff going on pre-snap, different formations, bunch formation. It's stuff that requires knowing your playbook, being able to communicate, forcing the defense to have to adapt and communicate what's going on. And it's clear that the offense has practiced a lot. They know those plays. They know their formations, who's supposed to be here, there. They motion around well, all that stuff. It's just really clear that they're a very well-coached team. And I think they're going to be really successful throughout this year. I think Mike McDaniel, what he has done with the Dolphins, he deserves a ton of credit for.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I would give my singular rose. I'm also going to combine my weekly checkup on the Texans to CJ Stroud and the Texans O-line. The Texans O-line finally for once didn't allow the quarterback to be sacked. And CJ Stroud had a monster game, 20 for 30, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. CJ was playing amazing. They beat the Jags 37-17. I'm proud of young CJ. The Texans showed that they could fight in the AFC South and they could even maybe push for that division title. I'm excited to continue to watch them. If the Texans line can keep it up, they're going to do great things. CJ Stroud, that's my player of the week. I think he did amazing. Loved watching it. Good job, Texans O-line. You guys did it.
All right, so now we move on to talk about Taylor Swift.
So, Noah, how do you feel about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
This is the first time I've ever had to use the feature where there's tons of accounts I've muted on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like if I scrolled through muted accounts, a lot of them. But this is the first time I've ever muted words. So there's a lot of words in there. If a tweet mentions Swift, Taylor Swift, Kelce, Travis Kelce, Swifties, it's not popping up on my feed. And that was a good decision.
I've muted words before. I've after a bad Raider game, I've thrown up a Carr mute. After a bad game, back in the day, I used to throw up a Carr mute real quick. You might just delete Twitter.
Probably better that way, anyways. Do we want this episode to be monetized or do we want it to be shadow banned? Travis Kelce, come on this podcast. Tell us how much you were paid by Pfizer. When you look at the Cardinals beating the Cowboys, how much do you weigh that as, oh, Cardinals are better than they were given credit for? And how much do you think it is, oh, people overhyped the Cowboys again?
Well, looking at it just from a Giants fan perspective, we get blown out by the Cowboys. We don't score a point. Then we come back. We play the Cardinals the next week. We don't score a point in the first half. And then we come back and we beat them. And then the third week, the Cowboys lose to the Cardinals. It's just so insane to me how the NFL works. It's just the most wild ride ever. Because when you look at it that way, you should be like, oh, this team's about this team. Is this team beat this team? But you can't do that because obviously it's different. So
Josh Dobbs also might be a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah. Did you see? I saw Josh Dobbs talking about how he came and buy his own jersey at his own stadium, which is rough. But I mean, Josh Dobbs is doing.
I'm shocked that the Cardinals are mismanaging something in their stadium or their franchise or anything. It's unheard of that they would not be on top of things. They're charging for food for their players and what else was it?
Billy likes to keep the money on the field. The concession stand, or was it the soda money?
Yeah.
It's hard to see. But Josh Dobbs, he's doing good he's doing what he should be doing. He's doing a great job replacing Kyler while Kyler's out, and he's playing
big little size 8 shoes to fill. Yeah.
Josh doing good. The Cowboys, it makes too much sense for this to happen to the Cowboys to blow a team out. That team beats the team that you lose to. It makes way too much sense. And the Cowboys, really, if you just look at stats-wise, didn't even play that bad. Like, had more yards than the Cardinals. Just some things go wrong.
Cowboys lost a game they should have won. Nature's healing. World's right.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. If I'm a Cowboys fan, don't overreact yet. I'm lying. Maybe overreact a little bit. But if you're a Cardinals fan, maybe get a little mad. But do you want that? Do you want a high pick or do you want to win games? Make that decision. A lot of teams got to make that decision now. A lot of teams are in weird spots. do the Bears, if you're the Bears, you have the number one pick, do you want a quarterback or do you eat Justin Fields?
But I don't think that's what?
I'm saying if you're the Bears and you get like the number one pick, and Caleb Williams is saying I'll play, do you take him or do you say Justin Fields is our guy?
I mean, you still are gonna see 14 more games from Justin Fields, so you'll know by then.
We will know.
I'll say it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be.
It just needs better game sense.
Yeah,
just general being good.
Yeah,
at football.
I do want to see. I do want to see Kyler Murray in this offense with this new regime. I want to see what that looks like when he comes back, and if that works out, then good. If that doesn't, maybe Kyler's on the move too. We'll see.
Yep, he is.
Yep, trade him.
Kyler will be in Oakland A again.
The Dolphins versus the Bills. The Dolphins coming up 3-0 after just scoring 70 points. Bills, everyone was like, what happened to Josh Allen week 1? Now they're 2-1. This is going to be a very exciting game. The Dolphins still without Jalen Ramsey. Don't forget that. But the Dolphins are looking powerful. They're looking fast. They're looking like no one can stop them. The Bills are looking to show that they aren't going to be swept out of the race so fast and that they still have a chance to win this division. I think it'll be a really good game. I think it's going to be a great game. I will say most likely I would lean to the Dolphins still winning this game. I think it'll be 34-28 final.
High scoring.
Yeah. It's funny saying high score after a 70-point game, but now we're back to reality. You're not playing the Broncos every week.
Dolphins win by 17.
Okay.
No, they win by 13.
Oh, you're generous. Well, he's peaceful.
I don't know. I think the Bills, they, after having a rough little beginning there, they have looked better. All it took was playing the Raiders and the Commanders, and all of a sudden they look like a good football team again. They won by 34 against the Commanders, something like that. So they look like they're rolling.
I'll say this for
everyone. And that defense looked good against the Commanders. So that I do think that the Bills defense is going to give the Dolphins it is going to put the Dolphins offense to the test a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely much more than the Broncos defense, who may as well not have any pass rushers. Like the Broncos, that's what one of the things that the Broncos need to figure out. Obviously, a lot of the spotlight on their issues has been like it always gets redirected towards Russ, just because Russ is an easy easy target for people to be like, oh, I'm Mr. Unlimited, and make fun of Russ. So he'll always catch a lot of the blame. So does the Sean Payton and everything. But the pass rush is something that needs to be, because they don't put pressure on quarterbacks. No, not at all. And you have to remember how much they gave up just from their team in general to get Russ too. Like it's the same thing we talk about all the time. Like you're going to get this big guy, but you're going to lose a lot also, and you're losing pieces that you would have needed. Well, the amount they gave up. Let's do some math on how much the Broncos gave up to get Russ and Sean Payton and where things are at now. Yeah. Because that's wild. That's a wild reflection. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Also, just so you guys know, somebody on this couch did text in our group chat during the game, guys, no one checks Sam Howell's stat sheet. It's propaganda and it's a lie. They hacked into the system and changed Sam Howell's stat line. I don't know what that was about. And then everyone said, wait, he's playing all right. He said, yeah, I told you it's a lie. The game was close. It was a lie. I told you. Have you seen all the memes? Or it's like the one man, and it's the Commanders going up for the kick at the very end of the game. Yeah. This is a clutch kick to get on the scoreboard before the game ended. Yeah. You know, here's the thing about Sam Howell. Sam Howell doesn't lose. He either wins or he learns. Let's get it. Let's get it like you're talking to him. Let's get Sam. Another game I'm excited to watch, another matchup, another divisional matchup, another AFC matchup, the Ravens versus the Browns. Both 2-1. Deshaun, I wish he wasn't doing as good as he was. And Lamar looked like he's back to being Lamar. This will be another great game just for two good offenses going at it. I will say my prediction for this one will be a lot lower scoring. I'm going to go 14-21 for this one. I'm going to say
I'm going to say Browns.
Browns win by 14. I think the Ravens, lost to Gardner Minshew and the Colts is what I think the Ravens did last week. No disrespect to Gardner Minshew. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He did pull an Orlovsky, didn't he?
He did.
But, yeah, I think, that AFC North thought it was going to be a little better than it is, if I'm being honest.
The Wild West out there.
Thought that
the Steelers going to be better.
Thought that the Bengals might play good football this year. Thought that Matt Canada wouldn't be in first place in the division. Don't know how that happened. Are the Steelers the worst first place team in the league right now?
Yeah, they just.
How are they in first?
We got we got AB posting Hitler mustaches on Matt Canada.
Yeah, this is a team where their stadium is filled with people chanting to fire their offensive coordinator, and they're somehow 2-1 and in first place in their division. It's wild. It's also never a good sign if there's enough people that at the game that even know the offensive coordinator's name to chant the offensive coordinator's name.
Yeah, and also
because you could get a head coach fire chant going, but offensive coordinator is a little more
specific. Mm-hmm. You're like, not the main guy. We want this dude. It's hard because if you want,
there weren't enough fans at the Raiders game that they could have got a chant going though. And they did.
If you want Matt Canada fired, you have to start. They have to start losing because they're playing bad, but they're winning somehow. Like through just grit and determination. It's like Rudy out there. They need to start losing games, and then he'll actually get fired. You know? Like people are like, yes, we're winning, but it's not good. Like it's not a pretty win. It's like we're fighting for our lives out there. Matt Canada. I mean, Kenny Pickett had the worst QBR in the league before last week. It's not something to be smiling about, Matt. I hope you're not at home saying, job well done.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to get wins, but it hasn't looked, but also early in the season, you want it to look like things are going good. They don't look like they're going that great, but they have won, so.
Exactly. It's like
maybe like Kenneth is that guy, I guess.
Don't say his government name.
I think calling quarterbacks by their...
I'm gonna start calling Dakota Rain.
Yeah, what's Dakota Rain? What's he doing?
I didn't even say that. We both said Dakota right there. Yeah. I'm gonna call by his full name.
Dakota Rain. What's the deal, man? Losing the Cardinals. Well, it's probably like like when you're a little kid, if you're you're in trouble when your mom or like calls you in and uses your full name like with middle name. It's probably like I'd imagine that's how how Jerry Jones calls up. Dakota Rain Prescott, get in here. Yeah. All right, so we've got another segment is the hot seat of the week.
Yeah.
Some people in the league that... Dude, I thought that was like air decompressing or something.
Oh, was that good? That was
What was that? Oh, that was... Oh.
Sorry. I looked this way because I thought you were going to be mad at me.
I thought something like popped and it sounded like air getting let out higher.
There you go. There you go. Hot seat.
Yeah, this is actually an inflatable couch we set up.
Hot seat.
So I'd say on the hot seat this week is Sean Payton, just because. I mean, you can. The Broncos went 5-12 last year. They didn't look good really throughout the year. I don't think most people. Maybe they did, but people shouldn't expect for Sean Payton to come in and immediately they're a great team. That being said. Giving up 70 points, losing 20-70, that's not just like play. Like there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed there, and a lot of that has to be reflected upon the coaching, I think, because there's stuff like we've talked about not creating pass rush, not getting receivers open, players effectively giving up towards the end of the game, or the thing is the Broncos. It wasn't just that they weren't making plays; it was that they legitimately looked silly on the field, and like. Mm-hmm. You can't have that.
No, NFL teams should not be able to score that many points on you. That should not happen.
If you watch the plays later in the game where there's like dudes blocking nobody and there's guys like running, like it legitimately they look goofy and it's not a good look. And I think that some of that, as the leader of the team, has to be reflected in the coaching, which I like Sean Payton, but something has to. He's definitely on the hot seat after that bad loss, especially after the stuff that he did say about Nathaniel Hackett coming in, like very openly saying Nathaniel Hackett was a bad coach and did a bad job in Denver. And then you come in and you almost set the NFL record for giving up the most points in a game. It's not a great look. I don't think it's entirely his fault. Not even close to entirely his fault. I think a lot went wrong for the Broncos, and the Dolphins are just a really, really, really good team. But also, you're going to find yourself on the hot seat when you say things like that.
Yeah.
And then things go so poorly for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And my player in the hot seat is going to actually be a coach. Mine's going to be Robert Saleh for the Jets. And not because I think he's a bad coach. I just think he's on the hot seat for his quarterback choices going forward. Because we all know Aaron Rodgers is out. Zach Wilson, I'm sorry because I hate hating on young guys and young quarterbacks, but Zach Wilson does not look like he's going to win you a lot of football games this year. And it's hard, but at some point you have to make a decision. Is Zach Wilson the best guy for us? People on Twitter and people online in the media are saying that Robert Saleh just has a bias towards Zach and he really wants to help Zach, which is amazing. You always want to help push these players forward, but at some point, it's your job. You have to realize you got to push guys forward. You got to move on from guys to get wins and to stack wins and to push your team forward. Unless you're just going the route of we're just going to lose and give Aaron a high draft pick, draft him an O-lineman next year, which I get that, but fans don't want to see that. Fans want to see you put out the best product you can every week. Not the best product in the league, just the best product you can. Show that you care and show that you want to win. And right now, if you continue to start Zach Wilson, it looks like you don't really care about putting the best product on the field.
Well, I think on paper, the strategic thing to do to give yourself the best shot might be play Zach Wilson, probably don't win very many games, get a high draft pick, draft a left tackle, Aaron's back, Aaron's healthy, make a deep playoff push next year. But in terms of what that communicates to your team, when you have like young guys on your team, you don't want to communicate like, hey, we're giving up on this year. We're waiting till next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much, because everything that Robert Saleh has said about Zach Wilson is that he has faith in him, that he thinks he's the guy for the year. I don't know how much of that is Robert Saleh actually believes that and thinks that Zach Wilson could be that guy, or if it's just like, because, obviously that's what you have to say. Mm-hmm. But to think that he's going to get them, I think the Jets are about a Kirk Cousins away from the playoffs. Like with Kirk Cousins, if they traded for him, they would be a solid playoff team. But then you're also setting up a lot of question marks for next year if you do that. But I think it's just a weird situation to be in, and it's super uncommon to be in a situation like that because there's just a lot of question marks around everything. But Zach Wilson the way he's playing doesn't feel like he's gonna get you there. So I don't know if Robert Saleh actually believes like, no, Zach Wilson actually can get us to the playoffs, I'm gonna keep playing him, or if it's just like, I'm giving up on this season by continuing to play him and we're focusing on like setting us up for the future. Mm-hmm. Because if you want to give yourself your best shot to win this year, I think would be to trade for Kirk Cousins probably. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree. And then if you're the Vikings, what does that say about you? Like, what does it say about your season? If you're like, well, there you go, Kirk, then what do they do? Is it like they're calling it quits in their season? Because they're 0-3 right now too, with a really good like rest of the team, but they just can't make it click right now either. You got Jordan Addison, you got Justin Jefferson, two stars coming up. Hey, someone's got to make the decision to just lose.
I disagree that the rest of their team's good.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings
have a few shining stars.
The Vikings their defense has just been, they've like on offense, they definitely have some weapons, but like their defense has been rough for a while now, and they're like, I feel like there's been a looming rebuild for a little bit, mm-hmm. and Kirk Cousins' contract year coming up. Jay Jettis having his contract year coming up too. I think this is the last year, then he'll get tagged for another probably, but It could be coming.
It could be coming.
But I think the Jets, based on the moves they made of signing Trevor Siemian, feels like they're. I mean, Trevor Siemian is who you sign if you're like, all right, keep Zach Wilson, add depth. Like, that's what that communicates to me is Zach Wilson and a QB2. Could be wrong. Maybe they won a competition between the two, but neither of those guys are like your playoff competitor quarterbacks.
There's a lot going on as the Jets, especially when you got cover letters from Colin Kaepernick coming in to your front office.
That's true. They could sign Cap.
Could sign Cap. I didn't know that. Hey, I'll write a cover letter. I'll write a job app.
Dude, that's.
You think you put it on LinkedIn? It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, straight up to apply for a quarterback job with a cover letter.
He might just need to start also getting trespassing.
I assume he sent it to the Jets, but the way it was publicized was he gave it to J. Cole to post. Is
yeah, was J. Cole was J. Cole supposed to correct it?
Oh, he said, hey, J. Cole, could you look over this?
Could you read over this?
Could you peer read this?
Hey, Jay,
he was like, I'll put it on Instagram. What?
If you're Colin Kaepernick, you might as well just start getting trespassing.
I love that
right?
he did it like if he would have actually put like a little resume about like his accomplishments, would have been even better. But like so listing the references at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you should just start getting trespasses. He should start appearing at practice facilities, outside the doors, just looking. I mean, real quick, I had another guy that was going to be on the hot seat, but I don't even really think he is. I think that's harder to hear. I think, really, listen, we still love the Raiders as my family. The Raiders are a historic franchise. We all want them to be good. Right? We still want them to be good. I think, realistically...
I love the disclaimers that come before you talk about the Raiders.
I don't think Josh McDaniels gets fired. I think he gets another year. I don't think if you're Mark Davis, you want another complete reset. I think you're going to hold on to him. I think he's going to get a third year. And I think that's harder to hear for Raider fans, that he's probably not going anywhere. I think it's probably sooner, which even hurts anymore, that Devontae leaves before Josh leaves. And that's a stab in the heart. Because that's more realistic. Mark, when I was away by Derek, bringing in Josh, has proven like he does not want to keep recycling or getting new coaches. They've done it for so long now. He wants to solidify this one guy. I think Josh gets another year. And I think that's scary. It's like a horror movie. Like, we just heard that, like, Michael Myers is coming.
I didn't know we were getting real.
It's getting real.
Well, if we're speaking our minds here, I'll say, yeah, there's no way Josh McDaniels is getting fired.
No, I think he gets another one.
They could lose a lot of games. Josh McDaniels won't get fired because accountability, not going to have it. As an owner, when you fire a head coach, part of what you're communicating to the public, whether you want to or not, is I made a mistake hiring this guy. I thought this would work. This wouldn't work. So there's a level of taking accountability that comes with firing a head coach. Yeah. And I don't foresee that action happening anytime soon, regardless of how this season goes, just because the way things are set up. And, you can't, especially you let a quarterback go, then you let the head coach go. If you keep doing that, it starts to look like you're panicking and you're just firing people left and right. Yeah, at some point the cycle has to stop. Raider fans, we're around the campfire right now, and we just heard that Jason's coming for another year. He's not going anywhere. I bet he gets another year. You say Jason? Like Jason Voorhees, sorry. Oh. Sorry. I was like, Jason who? But like realistically, that's why I'm like, I can't see. If I'm wrong, then Raider fans throw a party. If Josh McDaniels actually gets fired, then you guys can celebrate all you want because you got what you want. Josh is gone, then you can get Bieniemy or whoever you want. But I just don't see Josh McDaniels getting fired this year. I think he gets a full. I think he gets to finish this season, and I think he even might get a full next season. He'll get a full 3 years. Let me think of one or two more good jokes I can make about your current outfit. Thanks. You look like you would be very compelled by Travis Kelce's most recent brand endorsement video commercial.